yeah, it was good to get out and kind of see. Obviously, I drove in Ferrari just 1 lap or 2 laps, I think we did, just to kind of feel the car. So
Barcelona, 10:30 a.m. Rain falls. Hard. Most teams pack up, cover their cars, call it a day before it even starts. But Ferrari does something different. They put Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, brand new signing, 0 laps in dry conditions, into the SF26. In the rain, on a track no one wanted to touch.
How do you sum it up from your side?
it's nice to get out in the dry and do some running, because obviously our first day was in the miserable wet weather.
And what happened next didn't just validate a car. It rewrote Ferrari's entire season. Because sometimes, the worst conditions reveal the best truths. So here's the question. Can 57 wet laps change everything? Or did Ferrari just witness something they were never supposed to see this early?
So really proud of everyone back at the factory for getting the car to this point.
Let's rewind. Preseason testing. 2026. New regulations. Revolutionary active Aero. A 50-50 hybrid system that punishes mistakes instantly. Ferrari arrives with the SF26, a car built entirely on hope and simulation data.
120 laps or something like that, given it's in the wet conditions and we had a red flag, and that, I think that's pretty solid.
And for a team that's been burned by correlation errors in 2022, in 2023, hope isn't enough anymore. Charles Leclerc gets the dry running in the morning.
We'll manage to make the difference, but wherever we start, we will push at the maximum to try and bright.
Quick laps. Systems check. Nothing dramatic. Then the rain hits. And this is where most teams would stop. Red Bull covered the car. McLaren? Systems checks only. Some teams didn't even open the garage. Because testing in the wet is a gamble. You risk expensive machinery. You draw the wrong conclusions. The data becomes unrepresentative. But Ferrari didn't stop. They made a call that broke with years of strategic caution.
With our program, despite the weather condition,
They sent Hamilton out. Not for headlines. Not for lap times. But to test partial active aerodynamics. A regulatory tool no one had validated on a real track yet. Front wing open. Rear wing closed. Maximum stability in the rain. It was surgical. It was intentional. And what came back from that session wasn't just data. It was a revelation. Hamilton's lap time, 1 minute and 33.455 seconds. Slow. Ordinary. Underwhelming. The paddock shrugged. Another wet session. Nothing to see here. But inside Ferrari's telemetry room, everything changed. Because the engineers weren't looking at the stop. They were looking at the correlation. Simulator data. Wind tunnel projections. Dyno models. And what Hamilton delivered on track. Point. Perfect. Mass distribution. Matched. Aerodynamic flow and traction phase. Matched. Hybrid regeneration stability. Exceeded expectations. One engineer reportedly said, sincerely surprised. Not casual praise. A technical diagnosis. But here's the twist. Hamilton didn't just validate what Ferrari thought they built. He revealed what the car actually was, and it was better than they dared to dream. Let me paint you the picture of what happened in those 57 laps. Hamilton wasn't learning the car. He was teaching Ferrari about their own machine. Every corner entry, adjusted energy regeneration in unplanned areas. Every braking zone, exploring lateral stability under asymmetrical load. Every exit, adapting support points with technical aggression that shocked the engineers. He didn't follow the test plan. He rewrote it. Hamilton activated aggressive hybrid regeneration modes, something not even scheduled for that day. Why? Because he needed to know if the car could handle the increased rear axle load that comes with energy recovery. And the SF26? It stayed stable, despite additional pressure that would normally destabilize any car. Ferrari's technical staff couldn't believe it. They reviewed the data multiple times, looking for errors, checking analysis scripts. But there were no mistakes. Just Hamilton, compressing hours of learning into minutes. One analysis 4 hours after the session revealed something even more shocking. The car had more potential than its own creators anticipated. Hamilton's best laps weren't at the car's mechanical limit. They were at the limit of his analysis. Meaning, there was margin left. Hidden margin. Untapped performance. Waiting for someone to unlock it. Here's what that means. For years, Ferrari struggled with one curse: correlation errors. The simulator says one thing. The track says another. Confidence dies. Development stalls. But Hamilton just gave them something priceless. Instant validation. Lois Serra, head of chassis development, immediately requested a review of the update schedule. He wanted Hamilton's feedback integrated directly into upcoming modifications. Fred Vasseur held intense meetings, not to celebrate, to confirm if this was real. The unanimous conclusion? This was not luck. This was profound technical understanding. Ferrari didn't just hire a champion. They hired a human sensor, someone who communicates through data before he even speaks. And now, the entire development strategy shifted. The SF-26 wasn't a prototype with weaknesses anymore. It was a solid base, ready for aggressive evolution. But that created new questions. Should the B-spec package, planned for later in the season, be accelerated for Bahrain? Should simulation maps be modified to account for different driving styles between Hamilton and Leclerc? The focus of resources suddenly pivoted toward a platform that had proven resilient, toward a car that could be pushed, not protected. So here's where this story splits into three futures. Scenario 1. Ferrari accelerates development. The B-spec arrives early. Hamilton and the SF-26 hit their stride in Bahrain, and the entire paddock realizes the scarlet threat is real. Scenario 2. The data was an anomaly. Wet conditions. Limited variables. The car struggles in the dry, and Ferrari's hope dies the same way it always does. Slowly, publicly, painfully. Scenario 3. Hamilton's feedback becomes the foundation. But internal politics, Leclerc versus Hamilton, strategy versus ego, fractures the team before the car ever reaches its potential. Because in Formula One, the fastest car doesn't always win. The most unified team does. So here's what we don't know yet. Was that rainy Tuesday in Barcelona a turning point? Or just another preseason promise waiting to collapse under race weekend pressure? Can Ferrari finally break the cycle of hope and heartbreak? Or will McLaren, Red Bull, and the rest of the grid expose the cracks before Ferrari ever gets started? One thing's certain. If Lewis Hamilton can unlock a car this fast in conditions this bad, imagine what happens when everything goes right. If you made it this far, you already know, this season's not about who's fastest in testing. It's about who survives the first 5 races. So tell me, is Ferrari finally back? Or are we watching the setup for the most painful letdown in Maranello's history?